I'm done with emotionally violent people. That's what we're calling them. They're emotionally violent. Get your shit in order. Get yourself in check. What's up, you guys? Happy New Year. What's up? Happy New Year. For today's makeup and mindset, I'm going to be sharing with you guys some of the practices and ideals that I have started to adapt in the latter part of 2019. I feel like I said that so fast. 19. Some of the things I started to adapt and change about the way that I interact with people in the world around me in the latter part of 2019 that I do want to carry into and delve deeper into in 2020 because I'm done. I'm tired. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the things and people that I'm avoiding in the coming year, and especially as it pertains to people who identify themselves as empaths or overly empathic. I feel like these things are really, really important for us to be vigilant on when it comes to just living our lives, because it's really hard sometimes. It's very hard to feel like you feel everything. So yeah, if you haven't already, subscribe. I'm trying to come up with a different name than Peaceful Ass Bitches. If you guys watched any of my other makeup and mindset, you know that that's our name. However, I don't want to get demonetized for saying that at the beginning of all of my videos. I don't know if this one's going to get demonetized because I said it. I don't know, but I need to find a different name. So I'm going to be thinking of different names. If you have one that you think is a good idea, please leave it down in the comments below. And yeah, let's do some makeup. So I did a video not too long ago where I talked about being an empath. If you don't know what an empath is someone who can pick up and feel the emotions of people around them. They can understand the emotions, but they can also feel them. Like sometimes I have physical reactions to the emotions of people that I'm close with or people that I'm around. And I had an overwhelming response of people who shared their experiences and talked about how helpful the video was for understanding something about themselves that they didn't know. Realizing that I was an empath and reading more about it and understanding it, I felt really helpless to the fact that I was just constantly picking up people's energies. I felt responsible a lot of the time for how people felt. I felt like I was always had to be the one to like lighten the mood and make people feel better, and I just felt very just helpless. I did a lot of digging and trying to discover ways that I could like combat that because I was tired. It got to the point where I just didn't want to leave my house anymore. I didn't want to deal with people anymore. It can be very draining. Trying to do some digging and investigating, I have come to the conclusion that when you start doing self-development or like going on a spiritual journey, you evolve your consciousness to understand who you are as a person and how you fit into the world and what your feelings are and how to better control those feelings and manage those feelings. So naturally, in understanding who you are and how you affect you and the people around you, you will start to pick up on everything else. So I think that everyone has the capacity to be an empath, unless you're a diagnosed psychopath. Everyone can be an empath. People who identify as empaths are just more evolved people consciously. Everyone has the capacity to be empath, they're just not self-aware. Most people aren't even aware of their own feelings and emotions, so it's impossible for them to be aware of other people's feelings and emotions. But if they were to start doing self-development, reading books, maybe going to therapy, maybe getting more spiritual, I feel it's a natural progression to become more empathic. Again, unless you're a psychopath. So you might disagree with this. I'm sure that there will be people who disagree with this and think that empaths are like a special breed of people. But my understanding and the way that I've chosen to understand this is that everyone has the capacity to be this way. They just aren't evolutionarily there yet. They haven't reached that level of consciousness, which is perfectly fine. However, for me, that releases a lot of the responsibility that I feel, because previously I assumed that being an empath meant that you were special in a sense, that you had an ability and a gift that other people didn't have, couldn't have, wouldn't have, because a lot of the articles and things that you read are about how people were empaths since they were children, or you know, they've always felt that they could like feel and understand the emotions and feelings of others. While I do think some children are empaths, a lot of the times what you will find is that's linked to some sort of emotional distress that the children have felt or had to feel due to their families, their schooling, their environment to some capacity where they had to develop a sensitivity to their emotions to better understand the emotions and feelings of other people. And that just grew into adulthood. So people who grew up, say, in families where they didn't have to have any kind of emotional responsibility, and then they go into adulthood and they're just kind of selfish assholes who don't really give a shit about anyone but themselves, they can still eventually become self-aware enough to understand their feelings and become empathic, and thus begin to understand the feelings of other people. I'm talking really fast, so I hope that I'm making sense with all of this, but I said all of this to say that my new understanding of the fact that everyone has the capacity to be an empath released a lot of pressure for me personally, because I went from feeling like this is a gift that I have that no one else, not very many people are capable of having, to learning and understanding that through a developed consciousness, through an attempt to develop their own consciousness, they can be responsible for their own feelings. As an empath, you know, if you're an empath, you know that you're an overly empathetic person, you know that you never want to burden other people with how you feel, because you know how it feels to be burdened with other people's feelings. So when people become more self-aware, more conscious creators, they will understand that I'm not going to burden people with how I feel because I can pick up and sense the feelings of other people. I want to alleviate that pressure from other people. I want to be responsible for my own feelings and my own awareness of how I am in the world and what I'm presenting myself to the world, how I make people feel. So I'm not going to put that on other people. That to me is the most important part of understanding how you can go about the world as an empath without giving too much of yourself away to people for no fucking reason. I no longer feel that I need to give myself or be this super understanding and, uplifting person to the people that I encounter in my life, because that's not my responsibility. And a lot of the time, it doesn't work. There's not much that you can say or do for people that is going to actually change who they are and how they are in the world, unless they want to do that for themselves. Unless they want to change, you can't really change or help them. All it does is drain you of your energy and your resources and your happiness. Then you're walking around gloom and doomed, even though you didn't feel it, even though it's not your responsibility. It's not your feeling. Those aren't your feelings. Why am I sad now? Because you were sad. No, it takes a lot of effort to be aware, to be self-aware. It takes a lot of energy to just be responsible for yourself and your own feelings and regulate your own emotions. One of the things I'm very proud of about myself, and that I've gotten as a compliment for a long time, well, I take it as a compliment, people tell me that I'm very easy to be around. I'm very comfortable. I make people feel very comfortable. And I used to think that was because I was an empath, so I was exerting a lot of energy to make people feel comfortable. But recently I've learned and understood that as long as you are in control of your own emotions, being responsible for your own emotions and your presence, people are naturally going to feel more comfortable because they don't feel like they have to worry about you, if that makes sense. So now anytime I go anywhere, if I leave my house, I give myself a pep talk. I do. I give myself a pep talk, and I remind myself that I'm a good person. I have good intentions. I am responsible for myself. I want to be responsible for my emotions, and that's all you need. You just need to leave the house feeling responsible for yourself and being responsible for yourself and taking care of yourself. That's it. Unless you have kids or a dog, people who don't have the capacity to be conscious enough to understand that, what are you going to do for an adult? There's not much you can do for adults in understanding that. There really isn't. If you're someone watching this video, then you probably are at an understanding where you have consciously evolved to some capacity where you do want to understand this and you do want to contribute to the world in that way. But if people, you can't help people in that way. You just can't. And it's very, very important to be vigilant and conscious of people who will sense that you have the ability to feel and understand other people and will take advantage of that. People who will just give you a sob story or just want you to feel bad for them, when you're out at a party or whatever. They're either selfish, not self-aware, or narcissistic. or they might be all three, but no one is going to want you to pity them. Not very many people want you to pity them. Why would you want someone to pity you? I'm not going to go to people that I don't really know that well, or strangers, or even some of my close friends. I don't really talk about how I'm feeling, or if I'm sad and down. I don't talk about that stuff with my close friends because I don't want to bring them down. I don't want to feel like I'm burdening anyone with my emotions and feelings. And when you do encounter people who are perfectly fine with just woe is me, that is a manipulative tactic to get you to pity them, because when you're emotionally invested into what someone is saying or how they feel, then they can get what they want out of you. Getting people emotionally invested is the easiest way to manipulate them. Everyone knows this. Marketers know this. Advertisers know this. Donald Trump knows this. Everyone knows this. So as an empathetic person, if you know that you're overly empathetic, be very, very, very vigilant to this. If someone is telling you something about themselves and it's really sad and you feel really bad for them, stop and ask yourself, why are they telling me this? What is the purpose of this? What do they want? So moving into 2020, I am actively avoiding emotionally irresponsible people, because I feel that if someone was just going around hitting people, punching people, physically assaulting people, you don't want to be around that person. Not very many people are just going to be like chilling with that person, because you don't know, they might just like wail out and punch you. You don't know what they're going to do. And being emotionally irresponsible is similarly the same thing, because our feelings impact us on a physiological level. When you are upset, anxious, angry, sad, you feel it in your actual body, the same way you would physically feel it if someone punched you in the stomach. Probably not the same. It's not technically the same, but it is a physical sensation that you will feel. So being around people who are emotionally irresponsible is similar to being around people who are physically violent. Emotionally violent, that's what we'll call them. Emotionally violent people are people who aren't aware of how their emotions and their behavior affect the people around them. So this year I'm done. I'm not. I have learned that it takes a lot of effort just to maintain my own emotional well-being. I have to meditate constantly. I read. I take a lot of time for myself. I am constantly being aware of what my thoughts are contributing to how I feel, not letting myself just run away with negative thoughts and thought patterns. And it doesn't help to have someone in your life or people in your vicinity who aren't doing that, because that's irresponsible. They're not being responsible with who they are as people. So you shouldn't be subjecting yourself to being around that. I'm sorry. And I don't care. I don't care if we're family. I don't care if we've been friends for years. I don't care, because it doesn't help or benefit anyone to enable that behavior, to sit around and act like it's fine and it's okay. It doesn't help. And you can have conversations with people about it. Like, I'm all about that. Having conversations about the way people make you feel. I haven't quite mastered the script of what to say to that kind of thing. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know how to tell someone that they are not self-aware and emotionally responsible. So my tactic for that has been to just avoid them at all costs. Protect your space 2020. Protect your peace 2020. I'm not dealing with it. If you can, if it's someone who is important to you, who your mom, your sister, if you can have a conversation with them about how their emotional violence is affecting you, then do that. But have the bandwidth to know that if what you say doesn't go well, because it probably won't, people don't like being told about themselves. They don't like that. If it doesn't go well, you need to be able to walk away and understand that all you can do is try to be the best version of you in the hopes of inspiring the people around you, but not subjecting yourself to being taken advantage of. So I'm done with emotionally violent people. That's what we're calling them. They're emotionally violent. Get your shit in, or get yourself in check. I would like to have more compassion for these kinds of people, and maybe one day I will. Hopefully. That's the goal. But right now, nope. No. Some key factors and traits to look out for in toxic people: psychopath, sociopath, narcissist. Those are the extreme versions of toxic shitbags. But some subtle ones are people who are manipulative. If you feel like someone doesn't respect how you feel after you've told them, if you just feel like they're invading on your space, on your thoughts, if they're constantly disagreeing with how you're arguing with you, how you feel, or just using subtle tactics to make you think and believe how they think and believe, they're toxic. I'm not dealing with it in 2020. You can do what you want, but I'm done with it. People who like to complain. I do vent. Sometimes I'm upset about something and I vent. I will vent to my husband. I'll vent to my mom, my sisters. But after I vent about something, I am a solution-oriented person because I want problems solved. I want to move on. So I like to get it out, get my thoughts out, get how I'm feeling out, and then find a solution. Move on. If you're friends with someone or someone in your family just likes to complain, that's toxic because that's putting their emotions on you. That's putting a lot of emotional stress on you. And they're not interested in finding a solution. You can offer them advice. You can tell them what you think. You can offer them a book to read or something. But if they're constantly complaining, that's a toxic trait that I'm not dealing with in 2020. I'm done. Pity parties and pity stories. I'm done. I am not going to waste time feeling sorry for anyone anymore. This might sound harsh. It does come off harsh. I hear that. However, when has feeling sorry for someone ever done anything to help them? The answer is never. So if someone in your life is struggling or going through something and there is something that you can actually do within your emotional bandwidth to help them, then great, do it. But if there isn't, if it's just, a problem that they're going to have to deal with on their own and emotionally evolve through on their own, you gotta let it happen. You just gotta let people do what they're gonna do. Closed-minded people. I understand having values and conviction, but if you are closed-minded so much to the point where you don't like to hear or listen or take in the opinions or understandings of the people around you, the people who care about you, I'm done. I'm done with you. You're toxic. Part of evolving as a human being is being able to change, being able to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. If you're a closed-minded person, more than likely, you are stuck where you are and all you're interested in doing is holding people back. Sorry. This video now that I'm it's coming off a bit harsh. I don't mean to come off harsh, but this is how I feel. This is how I felt for the past couple of months, and it's part of the reason why I haven't been doing makeup and mindset, because I do still feel like I'm an empathic person, but my tolerance for humanity is just it's just slowly but surely just closing in. It's closing in. I don't know. I'm not sure yet if it's a good or a bad thing. I do still feel like I'm a good person and I deeply care about the people in my life. But I truly believe that unless you become emotionally, physically, spiritually responsible for yourself, there's not much anyone else can do for you. And the only people who are okay with everyone doing things for them are children, narcissists, and psychopaths. Are these the kind of people you want to invite into your life? No. Okay, I'm gonna put on my lashes. I'm losing light. The basis of this video, the point of this video, is to just share where I'm at right now. Where I'm at in my self-development spiritual journey, because that's what I started doing with makeup and mindset, and that's what I wanted to contribute to my followers, to the people who follow me and look at what I do. Hopefully with me sharing everything that I've learned and gained as a person that I do feel has made me a better person. It's made me a happier person. I'm going to continue doing that to the best of my ability. But the point of this video is specifically to my empaths and fellow empathic people. Understand that you are an evolved being. You are an evolved person living in a world full of unconscious people. And there isn't much you can do about that except to preserve yourself, preserve your spirit, preserve your energy so that you can go out into the world and actually do things that will make a difference. You're not going to make a change by listening to someone's bullshit, pity, sad, sob story. You're not going to make a change by continuing to loan your friends money, to loan people money because they give you some sad, woe is me story. You're never going to get a therapy degree if you're continuing to date narcissists and they're draining you and making you tired all the time. How are you going to get that degree, girl? How are you going to become a therapist so you can help people who actually want your help? You're not going to impact people and make a change if you're constantly giving yourself and giving your energy to people who refuse to take responsibility for their own energy. And it's harsh, it seems harsh, and it is not as easy as just, well, okay, well then I don't care anymore. But it is having an understanding. Go out into the world with an understanding that I can only be responsible for myself, my energy. I know that I'm not going out with the intention of hurting or harming anyone else, so I'm not going to accept responsibility of people who aren't aware of that for themselves. Period. Done. 2020, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm done. I'm tired. All right, you guys, that is it for this video. Comment down below and let me know what you guys think. If you're an empath and you do feel like you struggle a lot with your feelings and emotions, yeah, I do plan on doing another video where I'm talking about sociopaths and psychopaths. and toxic relationships as it relates to love relationships, domestic abuse, domestic violence. That'll probably be the next video. But please comment down below and let me know other videos that you guys would want to see from me. Yeah. All right. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video.